What's up, degenerates? Mad Merrigan here for 𝗫𝗆 Sports. Okay, what a day, Royal Ascot. Really, really great race. And I'm joined again to review a quick look at day one. And then we're going to move on and preview day two for you and try and find you some winners. I'm joined by guests 𝗵𝐵𝗍, the bookie basher, and the man that knows a lot about the pricing, 𝗍𝗏. Lads, how's things? 𝗵𝐵𝗍, what stood out for you today at day one of the meet?
Not a great day. It reminded me of the song. My mama said to be days like this. But the standout definitely today was Poetic Flare, Kevin Manning and Jim Bulger. The ride that Kevin Manning gave, I thought, was brilliant. He doesn't complicate things. He gets into good positions early on. And that he was very impressive, and I'm delighted for all the connections. My highlight of the day.
Yes, really, really impressive. And like you say, the man is in his 50s, but riding like a demon. Just nobody taking the prime posse off him today. So brilliant. But the horse definitely accelerated like a real good one. Probably his best performance as well. 𝗍𝗏, where was the highlight for you today? Some interesting ones to pick from.
Yeah, my day started off well with 𝗵𝗆 running well in the first race, but got progressively worse after that, unfortunately. But we'll have days like this, as Mick was saying. But my highlight would probably be 𝗪𝗏𝗏 winning the sprint, the big sprint. Just a Kieran Fallon riding it, you know, and it brought back a lot of memories. His father, old Kieran, you know, a legend of the game. And I was just delighted for Roger Teal as well. It's a massive winner for him. And the young Kieran's on the way up now, you know, and he's going to the very top, I'd say.
Yeah, for me as well, the training performance of the day, to get the horse back. I liked 𝗪𝗏𝗏. I thought he was just not himself. He just didn't fire this time round his couple of runs. And I thought, to be honest, I couldn't really see him. And I thought he might have needed headgear. But wow, did he bounce back and finish like a train, albeit the race was ran at a blistering gallop with a lot of pace. And then it kind of collapsed. But he really did see it out tough. Coming back in trip, his first ever run over 5 furlongs, so he could step up as well. We had Holly Doyle as well, lads, getting the winner of the last. And then Rashun, 66-1 of the Ascot Stakes for Ian Williams and William Buick. What a price that was. And yeah, let's leave that there. So, lads, we won't dwell on day one. What the degenerates want to know is, give us the winners tomorrow. So, 𝗵𝐵𝗍, we kick it off with the Queen Mary. 𝗵𝐵𝗍, come on, pull us out of the fire. We want a good one.
I looked at this last night, and the more I looked at it, the more complicated it got for me. So I said, uncomplicated. Wesley Ward has won 3 in the last 10. He won it last year with 𝗵𝗆𝗃, and he won it with 2 great fillies, Lady Aurelia and 𝗵𝗆𝗃. And Twilight Gleaming is built the same sort of stature, looks like a gelding more than a filly. And I know it's not great to be tipping a favourite in the first race, but it's better to be throwing a tenner on and collecting your winnings rather than throwing a tenner in the bin.
Absolutely. Yes, and Wesley Ward very, very rarely leaves this meeting without one in the bag. 𝗍𝗏, where does the value lie for you? Very tricky race, lots of nice fillies. Where do you land?
Yeah, tricky race, but I'm going to have a few quid on 2 horses in it. I'm going to back Quick Susie. I'd absolutely love to see her win for Gavin Cromwell. She's a ball of speed, so she is, and she's drawn up the near side rail as well. I know the favourite's drawn close to her as well. It could be a match up there in speed, and it could kill the 2 of them. But she'll do for me at around 10-1. And also there's a filly called Illustrating, who I thought was very, very impressive in Catterick. And she'd have a big chance as well, I think.
Yeah, very interesting runner. For me, I like the Charlie Fellows filly, ridden by Jamie Spencer. So Eve Lodge, this is a daughter of our dad. There was a wealth of money for this filly the last day. They obviously knew she was pretty good, and then she did not disappoint. I think she's well drawn to track the pace. Spencer in the saddle, and he will hopefully get a little bit of luck in running late on. That's the only worry about being drawn near side. Tracking, which looks like the American, and as you said, Quick Susie. So they could be vulnerable late on if they did get into a battle. But I think Eve Lodge, for me, definitely a filly that warrants respect. I backed her a small few quid, 18 to 1 this morning, now into 12s. So, all right, we'll leave that there. We'll move on so swiftly, and we'll move on to the 𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏. This is a very interesting race tomorrow, and hard to kind of gauge a bit of the improvers form, but we have Wordsworth at the top of the market for Aidan O'Brien. Mickey D, are you with, against, what's the field? He's as short as 11 to 4 now.
Well, he won it last year, Aidan O'Brien, and he has won it 5 of the last 10 years, but only 2 of those were favourites. And favourites have won only 4 times in the last 10 years, but none in the last 5 years. So by Ryan Moore choosing at Wordsworth, it doesn't mean that the other one hasn't a chance, or he has 3 in it actually. I'm on 𝗕𝘶𝗄𝗄, 16 to 1. I think it could be into 14s now. It was 4th in the Derby, the Linkfield Derby trial, behind 𝗕𝘆 and Adyar that won the Epsom Derby. I think that's rock solid for him. He's winning. He won on Good Fairham in Cork, and the other twice that was cut on the ground, he didn't run as well. And he's owned by Moglare Stud, and well bred and well connected to a lot of great horses by Moglare. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but I was going through them last night, and they were all Group 2, if not Group 1 winners. So I'm on 𝗕𝘶𝗄𝗄 each way at 16 to 1. I backed them last night. It could be 14s now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of support in the market, shortening up all the time. What about yourself, Joe? Wordsworth, the top of the market. I see Johnny Gosden as well has an unexposed one in here as well. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Wordsworth, to be honest with you. I think he's crying out for a flip like this, and he has the form in the book. I'm not going to complicate this race at all. I think it's time that Aidan O'Brien had a winner, and this is going to be his first, I think.
Right, so that's a strong word for the favourite there from Joe Value. Right, I'm going to go with a horse called Dancing King here. This horse for me, the run the last day in handicap form, I napped up a horse called 𝗕𝘆 the last day in Doncaster.
He's as slow as a boat, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, let me tell you one thing. He's a very, very good horse, and he'll show that on the next step. He got caught a little on the hop. Dancing King gave this horse £6 the last day. He also gave a horse called 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗃 a full stone that bolted up in its last 2 runs for Michael Bell on the bridle. 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗃 won in Windsor, never come off the bridle. He won in Haydock, he never came off the bridle. This horse gave him a stone, and he gave 𝗕𝘆𝗰𝗵𝗆𝗃, who is a very well handicapped horse and will show it very soon. This piece of form is, if not the best piece of form for me in the race. Yes, there is. I think this is the horse to beat, and I think he's a massive price around the 8 to 1. And I give Dancing King a massive, massive each way selection tomorrow in the 𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏. Right, let's leave that there and move on so to the Duke of Cambridgeshire. Right, what a race this is. Lady Bunthorpe, and I know she heads the market. She had a close call with a filly, Mickey D, tipped up, who won in York the last day, 𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏. Mickey, are you sticking with your one you had that one, or are you moving over to the impressive Lady Bunthorpe, who finished second in the...
I'm a Statsman, and this was won last year by Nazif, a 4-year-old. 3 favourites have won this in the last 10 years, and 9 of the last 10 winners of this race was a 4-year-old. So the favourite is a 5-year-old. So I can't have that on it as being a Statsman. There's been 2 French winners and there's been 2 Irish winners, but there's no Aidan O'Brien winner in the last. Tommy Stack and David Watchman had 2 winners for Ireland in the last 10 years. But I think there might be an Irish winner in this. There's a horse overlooked. It's 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 for Johnny Murtagh. And that's a Group 1 winner last year. It won the matron at stakes at Leopardstown. And it was sold prior to that then, and for a 7-figure sum. And the owners were very happy. I know a few of them. So the ground will be okay, no matter even if it gets a bit of rain, and it can go on top of the ground. So I'm on Champers. It's about 14 to 1. It's a 4-year-old. So I hope Johnny Murtagh has a winner tomorrow.
Yeah, she definitely looked stuck in the mud the last day. I thought she was trying to run on, but she just couldn't seem to get herself going. Joe Value, what are you thinking? Is the favourite, you know, to be second? The Great Palace pair in the Lockage was a very, very impressive run.
Yeah, it was a very impressive run, but I think she's gone a bit short now, isn't she? Like 7-4, 2-1. It's a very competitive race, and I don't think there's much wrong with 𝗃𝗃𝗃. Like I thought she was a bit unlucky not to beat the favourite in Newmarket, and she got the job done nicely in York. I know she can be a bit free early on, and look, if she settles properly, though, I think she's going to be bang there. To be honest with you, 𝗃𝗃𝗃 for me, each way, it's a fair bet.
Yeah, look, I was looking, I have to say, I was kind of getting drawn towards Johnny Murtagh's filly, but the more I go through it and the more I look at it, I just think Lady Bunthorpe is going to take all the beating, or Bunthorpe or Boughthorpe, however you pronounce her. This William Jarvis filly, this is a big day for Kieran Schumacher, and to be honest, I expect her to take all the beating tomorrow. I know she's 2-1, but her last run, you cannot deny it. It is just such a really good piece of form, and it is her prep run for Ascot. So I think they all have to step up. Can the Johnny Murtagh filly give them away? I know it's only a couple of pounds to a few of them. She has to give £5 to some. She has to give £2 to others. I think Lady Bunthorpe tomorrow is probably going to win. I just think at 2-1, I think she showed enough form this year to warrant being a rock solid favourite. And I think she'll get it done tomorrow right. Let's move on, lads, from there to the Prince of Wales, the 420. Trappy enough affair, 3 runners. The market is speaking in favour of Love at the eve before. What are you thinking, Mickey D? Anything there that takes your fancy?
There's only 2 favourites in the last 10 years. And John Gosling has won 2, Michael Stout has won 2, and Aidan O'Brien. So between them, they have 6 winners out of 10. And Aidan O'Brien has 2 out of the top 3 in the market tomorrow, and Lord North, Gosling's his favourite. Lord North won this race actually last year at 5-1. So I'm on 𝗟𝗏. I was very impressed with him. He was 3rd last year in the Irish Champions Stakes to Magical, and Scott S was 4th in that, and he went on to win the Prix de l'Arc. Like so, then he went to Australia. He was 2nd in the Cox Plate to Sir Dragonet, next Aidan O'Brien horse. And then I was desperately impressed with him the last time, the way he won, and he quickened up so quick in the fast in Chester. So he's the outsider of those 3 between Lord North, Love, and 𝗟𝗏, and he's about 137 to lose 2. So that'll do for me, because the stats as well is 2 favourites only in the last 10 years. So I'll go on 𝗟𝗏.
Yeah, it was good to see him come back and show the bit of, like, he was always thought as a good horse, but for some reason he just didn't fire on all cylinders last year. He had a really nice return to action, and I think at the price he definitely has a chance. What about yourself, 𝗄𝗏? Where does it lie? 3 of them close at the top of the betting. What about the other couple of good group fillies at there? You have the James Fanshawe filly at 12-1. And then your William Haggas code 28-1. Anything outside the top 3 lurking, or is it really between just the head of the market?
Well, would you believe I was giving Sangarius a bit of a chance? He's by Kingman, and Kingmans don't really like soft ground. And he probably needed his first run against Armory at Chester. He was only beaten 3 lengths. Now it was quite a disappointing run in Sandown the last day, but he has form in Royal Ascot. He's won at Royal Ascot before. So at a massive price, look, I might have something tiny on him, but I wouldn't be back in Love first run of the season, and I wouldn't be taking on either that hard either, to be honest with
you. Yeah, look, it's a trappy enough race. Lord North is weak enough in the market now. He's drifting out. I thought he was the horse to beat, but I'm not so sure. It's a race I might sidestep. I think Armory definitely represents a bit of value after his nice return, but for me, it's one I'm just going to sit out of, believe it or not. And then we're going to move on to what is the countdown conundrum of the Royal Hunt Cup. Mickey D, talk about the jigsaw. Can you solve the puzzle?
Yeah, you'll have to bear with me a second on this now, how I come down to my selections. It was won last year by Dark Vision, Mark Johnson horse at 15-2. No favourite has won it in the last 10 years. 2 20-1 shots have won, 2 16-1 shots, and a 33-1 shot have won. Nearly every year it has been won by a top jockey, and mostly they have been riding for other yards. 6 4-year-olds have won it in the last 10 years, and half the field this year are 4-year-olds, right? 6 of the last 10 winners have been drawn 20 or higher. And we're reducing the field now from half. 8 of the field is drawn 20 or higher. So when you put the whole lot together, I came down with 𝗬𝗂𝗁. He eliminated the favourites. He's a 4-year-old, right, but he's 7-1 favourite. I've been 𝗬𝗂𝗁, and the form of Frank today with 𝗕𝘆 he was right behind him in a listed race the last day. He won the Lincoln. He was up about £7 for that. I thought he won the Lincoln pretty snugly as well. And when 𝗕𝘆 ran on today, I was happy enough to see that. What do you call Magical Morning for 𝗕𝘆. It seems that if it's a plot job that he was put away for this from last year, and with Galston, and the other one would be Ryan Moore and Astra King. He was very unlucky in the 𝗕𝘆 Cup. He was left with too much to do when he came on the outside. So there's 3 against the field. I seldom back 3 horses against the field, but I'd be at 𝗬𝗂𝗁 would be a top choice, and the other one would be a smaller stakes each way. They're about 12-1 and 14-1.
Joe, value, where does it lie? Is there value in a field this size? I don't know. Can it be found? Mickey D has made a good case for 𝗬𝗂𝗁, who was so impressive in the Lincoln. Yes, came up against a few smart horses in the last day. Where is it for you?
Well, I have to applaud Mickey D's research on this race. It deserves to be applauded for that.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
I wouldn't be having a bet in this race if I was getting a free bet. To be honest with you, it's just absolutely impossible. If Mystic Meg told me she fancied one, I still probably wouldn't have a bet. It's just impossible, and I look on and enjoy it, but I won't be having any bet.
All right. Well, look, as you all know, my name is Mad Merrigan, and they tell me at Royal Ascot they like to have it just before the first race. My nap of the meeting comes in this race, brunch, and they all talk about how they like it. He has a £10 swing with mix 𝗬𝗂𝗁. He was second to him in the Lincoln. And with a clean run tomorrow, this horse will be bang, bang there. Callum Rodriguez for Michael Dodds, my nap at the meeting. I backed him at big prices, and he's shortening up the whole time. And if this horse gets a clean run tomorrow, the rest will be history. And that's why they call me the Mad Merrigan. But I really fancy him. Of course, the race is a conundrum, and you need to get the luck and running. But if this horse gets luck and running tomorrow, a nice toe into the race, he's drawn high. One of Mickey's stats. He is a 4-year-old. Another one of Mickey's stats. So it's looking good. All we need is a clean run tomorrow, lads, to collect in the countdown conundrum. Right.
I actually had him shortlisted, Paddy, but on account of the jockey, because I looked at the last 10 winners and they were all, and I'm nothing against Callum Rodriguez, but there's another horse as well, a 4-year-old, and I just can't. What is it? The one that David Probert is riding. Because I wouldn't class David Probert as a real household name, would say. So
no,
that's why.
But on ability, David Probert would be as good as any of them, no doubt. On ability.
But I just can't think of the name of his horse. But his horse is drawn high, and it's also a 4-year-old. So I wouldn't put anybody off backing him either.
Yeah, well, look, for me, I don't like Colin Rodriguez rides enough of winners. Yes, his name isn't Frankie 𝗕𝘆, but I don't mind. This is a horse that's ahead of the handicapper. The race will be rent to suit him, and a little bit of luck and running, and mark my words, he'll be charging home at them. And hopefully it'll be in front and not an unlucky second or third, Right, well, let's leave it there then and move on to the Windsor Castle, which is next. We have again Wesley Ward and Frankie 𝗕𝘆 at the top of the market, as short as 9-4 routes in. He also has Golden Bell, the second favourite, 8-1, Johnny Velasquez, who was like a deer in the headlights today on Royal Ascot. I thought he came out of the stalls, he broke well, and he nearly pulled his horse up in front. The next thing he was, they were all swarming him. Anyway, really interesting race, really trappy race. Any strong opinions, and what is the good thing, if there is such thing?
Yeah, no, I think rooting is a good thing, to be honest with you. I think this is one of the main bets of the meeting. Well, it'd be interesting to see how Wesley's get on in the first race. But this one here, all the reports is that she's the real deal. And I just, the third favourite there, 𝗕𝘂𝗁, he won a Mickey Mouse race there in Chelmsford, and he's third favourite to win it. I mean, I think the Americans could dominate it. I think she'll win. She's the best of them. I think she'll win.
Fair enough. Mickey D, what does the bookie basher from out west think? Are you in agreement? 9-4, pretty short.
Yeah, there's only 3 favourites in the last 10 years, and Aidan O'Brien is the only trainer to have won it twice in the last 10 years. There has been 2 16-1 shots, a 14-1 shot, a 20-1, and a 12-1. And all high draws have won as well, bar, I think, Stall won 1 year, but the rest of them have been all 18 or above. An interesting one for me was Paul Cole, Ernie's Valentine, about 33-1. There was a lot of money for the first time out, which is a good sign for a Paul Cole horse. And he has Jamie Heffernan booked for it. So that, as a 33-1 shot, let Bruton go if he wins. And I'll be on him for a few quid each way, maybe in the without market as well.
Yeah, very interesting race. Look, I couldn't really come down on anything. I did like, I'll give a small shout each way to the Richard Hannon Pot Dogs and more. I thought Amore was a good winner on debut, looked like a horse of maybe some substance. And I thought to myself, no name, never really nice sire. I said, I'll take a chance, but small stake stuff in a race where Wesley Ward could have a pretty good filly. So I think on that, I don't have anything else. Is there anything else lurking, lads, there? Just have a look around. Anything there at a massive price that might outrun its odds? Because you know these 2-year-olds definitely can step up on any given day. Mickey D, I suppose.
That's why I chose Paul Cole's horse as a 33-1 shot, just to go on an outsider. Like that's
he definitely has a nice price if he could get it together. I think for me, it's a race like Joe yesterday. Couldn't just come to anything on the 2-year-old. So I'll leave it sit. Right, so we'll move on then swiftly, lads, to the Fillies Handicap, the last race, the 6:10 tomorrow. What are you thinking? So we have Dream Looper at the top of the betting, mostly in second. The consistent lights on, very solid the last twice. Stunning Beauty, 𝗬𝗏 the Sousa. Where are you drawn to? And Joseph O'Brien, so I told you, a very impressive winner twice in Ireland, going over here and unexposed and really rapid in home the last day in Sligo. What do you think is your value?
Sorry, yeah, that's the one I like, Joseph O'Brien, so I told you. I just, for that reason, that in Sligo, she was absolutely thundering home. And young Dylan McGonigal rises, he's flying, like he can't do no wrong. I know Joseph O'Brien hasn't had a winner in Royal Ascot yet, but sure, that's only a matter of time before that changes. And I'm hoping it could be tomorrow, the last race.
Absolutely. Mickey D, can Joseph O'Brien, you said yesterday he had winners in Kilbeggan, Ballinrobe, Flemont in Australia, but he never had one in Royal Ascot. Is tomorrow the day, Mickey?
He came close today. I was sweating coming up the straight. I was saying
very close.
I picked out one tomorrow for in the last race, 16-1 shot for Roger Varian and David Egan. It's called Wally Yak, and I hope he's not a yak tomorrow. That'll do for me in the last day.
Yeah, I see him there. It's a bit of money for him there, Mickey. 16s into 11. Right. I have a big fancy here for Ed Walker's filly. I thought she was maybe looked like she might beat Lights On the last day in Ascot. The ground was soft that day. It's much quicker tomorrow. Oisin Murphy in good form today. And I think this filly just has enough upside. I was looking at her and I thought, yeah, she probably is the one filly for me that could have 7 or 8 pounds on good ground up her sleeve. So I'm thinking after coming off the heavy the last day, we're going to see a different filly. And she was just worried out of it by a real game Lights On the last day. So for me, I like her. I think she can step up again and hopefully get it done. She is still an each way price at 6-1. I know not many people want to be backing them, but it is Royal Ascot, and you've seen there all day. Trying to get a clean run on a straight course was hard today. Never mind on the round course. Yeah. So
yeah, she's very well thought of. She's very highly rated at Dream Loper. The only thing is that she can be very buzzy before the start and even going down to the start. And that's the only thing that's put me off her at the price she is. If she holds it all together before the start, look, she's class. I'd say she's probably win. But yeah, like at the, it's just that worries me. A big meeting like Royal Ascot. If she calms down and they get her into them stalls, no bother, and she settles early on, she probably will win. Yeah, you could be on the ball.
She could be a nice filly. Lads, thanks a million. Right, before I let you go, have you anything for the degenerates away from Royal Ascot tomorrow?
I'll get mine out of the way because of the first the one today now was disappointing. But in the last race there, at 𝗏𝗏, there's a horse called Rebel Leader. He was bought for a good few quid after winning his point to point in Ireland, and he just didn't put up any trees for Harry Whittingham, but he did run well on a few occasions. He's rated. He's with Dr. Newland now. He's rated 81. Like, if he can't be competitive in a race like that, it's the last race at 𝗏𝗏. If he can't be competitive in a race like that, I'm in the wrong game, to be honest with you. He's 4-1. Wild Sports are going first 5 places. He could be even better than 4-1. There's only one lad doing prices at the minute. But Rebel Leader for me, if he can't be involved in a race like that, I don't know.
Right, Mickey D, what about yourself? One for the degenerates.
No, I had a quick look today, and I went through my list on my tracker, and I found nothing that's running tomorrow. I thought it was mediocre stuff in Navan and Wexford, so Hamilton didn't appeal to me. So no, maybe one the next day. I think I won for the following day.
Okay, then, lads. Sure, thanks a million. I'll have something for the degenerates later. I just hadn't had a chance to look at tomorrow's meetings, but I will, and I'll post that later. Lads, as always, thanks a million. Let's hope day 2 of the Royal Ascot meeting. Let's hope we book an odd, or we bash an odd bookie, and we take a small bit of value. All right, lads. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thanks a million.
Time for cotton is over.
The cotton is over.